Good afternoon, everyone. Monday afternoon. Another great day. So it was wasn't a great, necessarily uneventful weekend, but it was fairly busy. But nevertheless, another week. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the state of Alabama has passed a bill, like several other states have, where people who are born male, biologically male, cannot play in women's sports. So, the state of Alabama has passed a law that says that if you were born a biological male, that you cannot play in women's sports for obvious reasons. Fair play, I think, is what the governor had said. But it's obvious. It's obvious that anybody who's born a man cannot play in women's sports. Even, and this has been proven by doctors, even if you've had, quote unquote, the surgery or whatever, you're still physically stronger than someone who was born a woman. So we've seen many instances where either people who call themselves they identify as women, or they have, were born a man and have gone through the surgery or whatever, just literally just beating up women when they compete with women for obvious reasons. And so again, all this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, obviously. But for me, there are only two sexes, male and female. Now, in our modern society, we have invented all these other things that you can declare yourself as or be or whatever. And, okay, whatever. But that doesn't negate the fact of basic biology. Okay, that doesn't negate the fact of basic biology. Okay. Basic biology is that either you're born a man or you're born a woman. At least the human species. Okay. We know there are some animal species where that is not the case, but we are not those animal species. We are human beings. If you want to go the biology route, we're, the top of the mammalian, mammalian species, or whatever word you want to use. The most evolved, I guess, whatever term you want to use. And so I am in full agreement with the fact that not even from a Christian or religious perspective, let's just say religious perspective, biology is very clear that there are two sexes in human beings, a male and a female. And there have to be, so that we as a species can procreate. Okay? From a religious perspective, specifically a Christian one, where I come from, God didn't make nothing else but a man and woman for procreation. I mean, that's just basic common sense. It's impossible for a species to be able to procreate if there's not a male and a female. It's just that simple. And so for people to declare themselves or identify as something other than that, okay, that's their business. But in the end, you are what you're born of. You can identify I don't care if you identify as a piece of wood. I don't care. That's your business. You can identify yourself all you want to. But in the end, you are what you're born as, either a man or a woman. It's just that simple. Okay? Obviously, I don't believe in people being or saying that they're born homosexual. No, that's not biologically correct either. Being homosexual is a choice. It is a lifestyle. It is not anything proven by DNA that you are born. A man is born to like men, or women are born to like women. No, that is a choice. It's your choice, but it's a choice. So I don't get into all these things. There's no secret that I don't believe in any of that. But I do believe that everybody has a choice to identify whatever they want to identify as, and that, if that's what you want to do, then do your thing. One thing I don't agree with, other than, of course, that it's a lifestyle and not, a proven genetic thing, is that everybody deserves to be respected regardless of what they identify as or what they believe in. But in the end, we can't get away from what's biologically fact and biologically true. It's just that simple. So for the state of Alabama, along with several other states, have passed laws that say that if you're born a man, you cannot play sports with women. It should be common sense, but it's not. Okay? Biologically, men are stronger than women. And it's not to say that women can't do a lot of things that men can do. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, men are born stronger and have different traits than women do. And they're built differently. They're built to be that way. And so for women to say that that you can do anything that a man can do, okay, maybe, but you're not built to do everything men can do. That's just not the way you're built. That's not what you were created for. And you might not like what you were created for. Okay, but that doesn't change it. Okay? I know many women that are stronger than me, and that's fine. That's great. Whatever they choose to do with their bodies is their business. When it comes to, individually doing what they want to do with their bodies. I'm talking about working out, bodybuilding, all that other stuff. I'm not talking about having children. No, you don't have the total say-so in that, because it takes two people to create a child. Okay, and unless you have prior permission from the other person to, do whatever you want to, then that other person has a say-so in that child's life just as much as you do, being the woman and having to carry that child. It's not right, and I don't agree with the fact that, it's a woman's right to choose. No, it's not. It's not a woman's right to choose. Yes, it's your body. I totally agree with that. It is your body. But that child is not just yours. It is that man's child too. Because it takes two to make a baby. And that baby has the DNA of both parents, not just one. And just because you carry doesn't make it that you are the only one that has the deciding factor in what you want to do with the baby if you decide that you don't want that baby. No, that's not your choice. I have 3 children. Okay? It was not my wife's choice if she decided she didn't want that baby anymore. I have just as much of a right to make that decision as she does. because that baby's both of ours. Yes, your body is yours. True enough. But even the Bible states that our body doesn't belong to us. It belongs, if we're married, to our spouse. But we know a lot of people don't like that. But when it comes to children, and I know I'm a little off topic here, but when it comes to children, you know, the woman it's not the woman's choice. You know, it's not just the woman's choice, should I say. The man has every right and say so when it comes to a child. Anything else, well, you can do whatever you want. But if you're having a child with somebody, that other person has a right to make decisions for that child. Whether you like that person or not. You shouldn't have laid up with the person. Now, in instances of rape, in all honesty, as vile as rape is, I still don't agree with aborting the baby, because it's not the child's fault. Yeah, the man deserves to go to jail. Yes, most definitely. But it's not the child's fault of what happened to you. So if you don't want the baby, fine. Put that baby up for adoption. Let somebody else who wants a child, who maybe can't have a child, take care of that child and raise that child. And again, that's a very controversial viewpoint. And I used to think differently, but I've come to a point in my life where even in rape and incest, it's not the child's fault of what happened. It's not the child's fault. Why should the child suffer for the evil that somebody else did that had nothing to do with them? They are an innocent bystander in what happened. So even though what happened to the woman was vile and evil, and the man should be punished, the child shouldn't be punished, because the child is not the child's fault. The child didn't ask to be born. None of us asked to be born. Our parents made the decision for us. And my children, me and my wife, made the decision for them. And unlike a lot of people, we decided to raise them together as not only godly parents, but just to make sure that, one, because my wife comes from a single parent home, that we made sure that our boys had everything they needed to be successful in life, to include a two-parent home. So, and again, that was a little off topic, but coming back to the topic, I say all that in that because it takes a man and a woman to create children. Even if you don't physically have sex with a woman, you still have to get sperm from a man to be inseminated to have a child. It still takes sperm and an egg to make a child. I don't care how you twist it around. It still takes a sperm and an egg. It still takes a man and woman to make a child. Okay? Again, I'm not against people living however they want to live. If you want to be homosexual, by all means, handle your business. One thing I don't like is that you're trying to push that on me. No, that's wrong. That's wrong in every way. You live your life the way you want to live it. Don't push your thing on me, and I won't push my thing on you. You just do your thing. You ain't got to like how I view the world or how I view topics and whatever. That's fine. You ain't got to listen to it. Just do your thing. I'm not against people living living whatever way they want to live. But don't push it on other people who don't agree with it. That's wrong. That's cult. That's cultish. That's socialist. That's all kinds of stuff. People forcing their viewpoint on other people is wrong. Period. I don't care what it is. I don't agree with people who force my religious views on other people. It's not on us to force anything that we believe in on anyone. All we do is give them the information. It is up to individuals to accept that information and then give their life to Christ. I don't force anybody to be saved or to live holy or anything like that, because everybody has free will. God didn't force me to do it, so why am I forcing others to do it? That's wrong. If they want to listen to what I got to say when it comes to that, then I'll be more than happy to talk to them about it. And if they make that choice, wonderful. If they don't, okay. God bless you and carry on. So why is it that people have such a hard time believing that a lot of people in this country don't believe in their LGBTQ policy or thinking? And so why would they feel like they have to force themselves so that they can create policies that only benefit them but don't benefit anybody else? See, laws should not only benefit the people that they're enacting for, but should benefit everybody. Everybody should benefit from every law that we have on the books, whether the law was created for you or not. The problem with the policies that government included, is trying to push on regular people is that it doesn't benefit regular people, because they're not trying to just pass laws so that they're protected. They're trying to pass laws to force things on other people in the name of protection. That's not right, and it's not fair. Biological men, regardless if they identify as that or if they've had surgery, should not be able to compete with biological women in women's sports. That's wrong, and in so many ways. It's not fair, which is what the Alabama governor said. It's not fair, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's not fair. Men's sports and women's sports are two totally different things. Men's sports are more physical. They're more brutal, because men are created stronger, physically stronger. Just off the top, men's bodies are created differently than women's. So of course, men's and women's sports are going to be different. Women, I agree with women's sports. Let women compete and do whatever they want. But to allow men that were born biologically male, regardless of whatever surgery or whatever it is that they've had after the fact, should not be able to compete with women because their bodies are still different. I don't care if you've gotten rid of your penis and all the male genitalia. You still physically are a male in body structure. Because all the hormone injections and therapy that you get, yes, you will start to grow breasts and all this other stuff, but to have a vagina, you literally have to have physical surgery to be able to create that. But your body is still male. So these are the reason why several state governments, and more will follow, are passing laws to make men's and women's sports fair. It's just that simple. They're separate for a reason. It's common sense. They're separate for a reason. And it's sad that states now have to pass laws to make sure that common sense prevails. It's very sad. It's extremely sad. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way that common sense has to be protected by laws. And that the obvious separation of the two sexes is being so blurred now that unfortunately it takes laws to try to bring it back to some semblance of order. Because there's no order. God is not the author of confusion. Only the devil is. And that's why everything that's going on in this world is the devil. Because the devil likes confusion. And so with all these quote-unquote multiple sexes that you can be now is nothing but confusion. But people don't want to see it, people don't want to believe it, and people want to do their own thing because they want to be rebellious. And that's all that is that people don't want to be what they were born to be because of whatever trauma or whatever somebody else they listen to or whatever it is, or just because they can. And I'm not downplaying trauma, but there is no trauma that should change biological truths and facts to turn somebody who is male and or female into the opposite sex or to something totally different. No trauma in the world. And again, I'm not downplaying trauma. There are some horrible things that happen to good people. I watch, what's the name of that show? Soft White Underbelly, or I think that's what it's called, on YouTube. A great YouTube channel that highlights all the things that happen and are happening to human beings from all spectrums. He doesn't differentiate nobody. Everybody's on his show, from the drug dealers to the prostitutes to LGBTQ to whatever. He just highlights the human experience, because the human experience gets lost, and the world is not black and white like it should be. It's all kinds of grays. And so to understand the world that we live in, this particular YouTube show highlights the human experience in all its forms. And the gentleman that runs that YouTube channel is very good about not judging anyone. He just brings people on, they tell their story, tell their testimony, and leaves it up to the viewer to form their own opinions. And I have no problem with that. Whether I agree with the people that come on a show or not, it doesn't matter. All he's doing is highlighting viewpoints of people that live in this world. That's all he's doing. Now, he tends to lean more towards the type of people in society that the majority of society might look down on. He does. But when you listen to their story, you may not agree with what they do, but when you listen to their story, you understand that a lot of the traumas that a lot of these people have went through as children because of dysfunctional parents, whether it be one parent or both, has made them, in many ways, made them for what they are today. And then there are some that had great childhoods and that just decided to do those type of things. So there is no one cookie cutter thing that makes people who they are, or makes people choose the decisions that they make. Again, they're all decisions that people make because everyone has free will. And just because you decide to use that free will to do whatever you want doesn't mean you get to push that on other people. And that's why state governments are having to step in, because the federal government is not doing their job, and state governments are having to step in because common sense is not common anymore, and that biological facts and truths are now being twisted around. And so now it's up to the state government, since the federal government won't do it, to try to rein in this so that we can have some semblance of common sense back. And the state of Alabama is just one of several states that have started doing it. And there may be some states that don't do it at all, and they're just open, wild, and free, and just let people do whatever they want. But confusion turns into chaos. Let me say that again. Confusion turns into chaos. And so the states that decide that they want to continue confusion, it will down the road turn into chaos, and then they will regret what they did not do. I guarantee it. Majority of Americans that live in the United States of America understand common sense and don't agree with most of the agendas that not only the government is trying to push, but the LGBTQ community is trying to push. They don't agree with it. Whether they say it or not, they don't agree with it. Some people aren't going to say anything at all, and that's fine. That's their right. But a lot of people are going to say something, and a lot of people don't agree with it. And they're fighting back. And most people that don't agree with it agree that they have the right to live whatever lifestyle they choose to live. Most would agree with that. You ain't got to agree with a lifestyle to agree that everybody can live whatever they want to live. You can be homosexual all you want to. You can be whatever you want to be. That's your choice. But it's not your choice to push it on other people. It is not your choice to tell me that my opinion is not as valid as yours, that my lifestyle is not as valid as yours. That's wrong. That's a cult. And I would argue that the people who are pushing these agendas are cults. Because cults don't give their members choices. They force them to do whatever they want them to do. There is no free will in a cult. There is no choices in a cult. You have to believe and think the same way everybody else does in a cult. That's the LGBTQ community. And that might not be every person in it, but that's the leadership. They want everybody to believe what they believe, and that's wrong. I ain't got to believe it, nor do I got to like it, nor do I got to agree with it. But you have every right to live it any way you want to, as long as you're not trying to push it on me. The Constitution protects your right to live it any way you want to live it. We don't have to change laws. The laws are already on the books. I don't agree with same-sex marriage, but you have every right to be with whomever you want to be. I ain't got to agree with it, but you got a right to do it. Constitution already protects that. Maybe the Constitution needs to be updated a little bit. Okay, I'll go for that. Not necessarily updated to change it, but updated to protect more people. Being homosexual is not the same thing as being black or brown or that. That's not the same thing. Because again, being homosexual is a choice, not something that you're born into. That is a choice, and you have every right to choose that. And again, people aren't going to like me for saying it, but again, all this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. That's fine. You can call me a bigot. That's fine. But you calling me names makes you the same as everybody else that calls you names. You ain't no different. You're just as bad as they are. Because we shouldn't be calling each other names. You have every right to live whatever way you want to live. I'm not going to come in your house and tell you can't live what you want to live in your house. I ain't finna do that. Because I don't want you coming in my house telling me how to live. Do your thing, by all means. So I say all that because these states that are passing these laws are trying to bring common sense back. They're not saying that you can't live the way you want to live, but you just cannot just do whatever you want to do and not I can't figure out how I'm going to put this, and not negate the fact that there's only two sexes and that all of us are born one or the other. How you choose to live your life when you're grown is your business. All three of my children now are grown. They can make whatever choices they want. I did my job. I raised all three of my boys. They can make the choices, whatever they want to make. I ain't got to agree with it. I ain't got to like it. I'm going to even try to talk them out of it. But in the end, it's their choice. They're still my boys. I don't care what they do. I have an uncle who's a homosexual. I don't agree with his lifestyle, but it's his choice to make. And I love my uncle. He's my uncle. He's blood. He's my uncle. I ain't got to agree with your lifestyle to not love you as my blood and my uncle. Not at all. Smart as a tack. Got me started on this on my family tree, this genealogy journey that I've been doing for almost a decade now. Love my uncle. That's my uncle. But I don't have to agree with his lifestyle. He don't have to agree with my opinion. But I still love him. And I hope he still loves me. That's my uncle. Simple fact of the matter is we have to have common sense when it comes to stuff like this. I think I might have saw something where they had a bunch of retired male players play a bunch of current women players, and the women players just got decimated. Not unexpected at all. Why is anybody surprised by that? And of course the women were trying to play it off. No, y'all got whooped on for obvious reasons. And that doesn't put down the women's abilities, but they're not the same. And when I say retired players, they weren't in their 60s, 70s, or 80s. These were probably 40 or 50-year-olds. Maybe even a couple of 30s, depending on when they retired. That is not unusual or surprising at all. I think Serena Williams challenged to play a male tennis player as long as they were not rated 200 or above. She played that male player beat her. She was like, okay. She didn't make excuses. She didn't say it wasn't fair. She just like, okay. And Serena's by far probably one of, if not one of the greatest women players in women's tennis. And even in men's tennis, if you want to lump them in together, but certainly in women's tennis, her and her sister are great tennis players. You can't take nothing away from either one of them. But even she didn't have an issue that she got beat by a man. And again, I believe there was a tennis back in the 70s. A woman tennis player did beat a male tennis player. Okay. And if she would have beat that guy, okay. But she didn't get all whiny and cryy and make excuses because she got beat by a man. She's like, okay, I got beat by a man. Okay. And certainly he wasn't as good as she was, at least in the ranking department. We got to have some common sense. We got to be able to do things better as just human beings. And we just got to realize there are just some biological facts and truths that we just cannot get around. It's just that simple. We just can't get around them. And so we're just going to have to learn how to work around it, but yet still keep those biological facts and truths. It's just that simple. Again, all this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. And if you don't agree with it, fine. Put your comments below. Be respectful, because I'm not going to take disrespect. It's just not going to happen. We can have an adult, intelligent conversation without being disrespectful. I'm just not going to do it. So if you have an opinion, or you enjoy this content, you enjoy this little vlog today, leave a comment below. Like, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Again, we don't have to agree, but we do have to be respectful, because I have to be respectful to you and you have to be respectful to me. And if you don't, then you're just not gonna, your comment won't be seen. That's just that simple. And you'll be blocked, and you can go somewhere else and say whatever you want to say. Because we want constructive criticism, not cancel culture, name calling type of stuff going on. That's just not going to fly here. Okay. So like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you share this. Again, I don't make any excuses about what my opinions or comments. You don't have to agree with it. That's fine. Go to another channel and watch them. It's all good. My opinions are my own, and I don't try to skirt around that. So hey, I'm on Rumble as well, so check me out on Rumble. WTM1, I believe, is what I am on Rumble. So check me out on there. I'm gonna start downloading more stuff on there. And check out my son's website, philmartin.org. That's PHILL Martin, MARTIN.org. He's got some great content. It's got a great website. It's doing great, wonderful things. Y'all are gonna enjoy his website. So until tomorrow, Lord say the same. God bless you.